half in the bag. Well, we're back. It's time to talk serious now.
Oh.
I saw probably one of the best movies of the year, and I don't know if this was released in 2023 and I watched it in 2024 or not. I think it was.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't released this year. I'm pretty sure you saw it. It was The Iron Claw.
Ever since I was a child, people said my family was cursed.
Figured I'd talk about it.
Yeah, that's like right on the brink of whether it came out last year or this year. But
we don't stick to the rules here. We get close. Loved this movie.
very good, very depressing.
To say the least.
Yeah. I wasn't too familiar with the family that it was based on, so.
Yeah, I knew absolutely nothing going in because I know barely anything about wrestling. All I knew it was about real life Von Erich brothers.
I'm not overly familiar with Zac Efron.
You know who Zac Efron is.
I know who he is, but I haven't seen much that he's been in.
Sure, you saw Dirty Grandpa.
I didn't see Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah, you
oh wait,
told
I
me
did
you
see
did.
Dirty Grandpa.
You did.
That shows how memorable that film was.
Right.
But I mean,
Teen High School Musical.
I did watch all those High School Musicals, yeah. But this is like, yeah, I know. What didn't he have like an accident that like broke his jaw and like his face is shaped different now than it used to be?
From this movie, or just
before this movie was made, but this is the first thing I think I've seen him in since that happened.
I am not aware of
And
that.
he's like super buff in this, and yeah, his face is like differently shaped than it used to be because of some accident he had.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he's all three of the brothers in this are great.
Yeah, I mean, the acting all around, fantastic. The story.
The dad, Holt McCallany, I guess he was on the Mindhunters show, the Netflix show.
Oh, yeah.
But he's been in like everything David Fincher's ever done, but he's always like a minor role. Like he's in Fight Club and all the way back to like Alien 3. But it's nice to see him like, I guess, I'm sure he's like one of the main characters on that Mindhunter show, but it's nice to see him like in a big meaty role in this where he's not just like supporting actor man.
Right.
He gets to do a lot.
He's a monstrous father.
Yeah.
Vicariously living through your children from your own failures. And,
Yeah.
He's like the Jackson 5 father, just like pushing your kids to the limit. It's,
Yeah.
And then like spoilers when they start dying off, it doesn't seem to affect him too much. He just wants the success.
Just, kind of moves on to the next one.
And the mother.
Yeah, it's a hard movie to completely recommend. It's like, do you want to feel like shit for the next couple days? Watch The Iron Claw.
It has a sort of a happy ending when they talk about like the aftermath and how life moves on, and
Oh, yeah.
But yes, it's a difficult movie, but not all movies need to be fun and entertaining and enjoyable because as human beings we have a complex range of emotions that we need to explore all of them sometimes.
Oh, of course.
Whether that's the lighthearted or dipping into the darker side. It's important as a well-rounded person to explore all facets of our emotions. And so, yes, you sometimes you got to take that dark road. You got to put on that Schindler's List and really see some stuff. And this is that. It's different than Schindler's List, but it's very dark.
It's the tagline on the poster. It's different than Schindler's List, question mark.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The movies just to make you feel bad, like, was it Gummo? I've never seen that, but I've known it's...
There are some movies that are just, made to like wallow in misery and filth, and
this,
you don't get much, there's nothing to take away from it.
Yeah, and this has takeaway.
Yeah.
When the characters are good and they're complex and they have motivations, and like the Jeremy Allen White character, he's the main one, and he's just like dealing with all this stuff the best way he can. They've almost been like programmed by their father.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not just like, oh, this happened, then this happened, these horrible things keep happening. And it's almost like of their own doing, but it's almost not their fault. It's like trauma. And so when it's well done like that and well written and the characters are good, then it's worth it because you can learn something from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not misery porn.
Yeah.
'Cause there's movies like that out there, like the Phantom Menace and
The Phantom Menace was just re-released in theaters.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the highest grossing movie of all time.
It apparently did pretty well for a re-release.
The highest grossing movie of all time. I saw an article.
Oh.
An article below that said that the average of human intelligence has dropped by 70%.
Oh, my
in the
God.
last year. So I don't know. It's an unrelated article.
Oh. Did you know that nobody disliked The Phantom Menace before the Plinkett reviews?
I did know that. It did not get any bad reviews.
Everybody loved it. No.
And then
The only reason people hate it is because they watched an internet video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the far corners of the internet, a small internet video.
This is a very realistic rationale to have. Yeah.
Somehow that internet video, the Mr. Plinkett Star Wars The Phantom Menace review, which was created 10 years after the film came out, somehow influenced all those critics that panned it when it was first released in theaters.
It's mysterious.
And let down generations of Star Wars fans,
Yeah,
except for babies who have now grown up into 20-year-olds who have the mental capacity of babies. Enough said. What you got next, Jay?
Kind of a segue, because there are some movies that are
Whoa,
miserable.
our subscriber count just dropped in half. Anyways, continue, Jay.
This is a movie called Last Stop in Yuma County.
Oh my God, I almost watched that last night.
It's good.
Estimated $700,000. A witness spotted a green Pinto with a damaged rear end fleeing the bank at approximately 6:20 a.m. this morning.
It's very good. It's got a great cast, but it's one of those movies that is again, going with the 90s thing. It feels like one of those like post Pulp Fiction, Tarantino kind of knockoff movies.
Felt Tarantino.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, because it's very well done. But it is one of those movies where it's like, it's very dark, it's all these criminal characters, and it kind of takes a twist in the second half that isn't completely predictable. And it's like, this is a movie, unlike The Iron Claw, that could have used like a counterbalance to that, some sort of good character. I think of like Fargo, because everyone's like a miserable criminal in that, but then you have Marge Gunderson and her husband, and they're this loving family. They're just trying to be good people.
Hello?
And this movie really, and it's a taste thing, like for me, this movie could have used some sort of light in it because it is very dark, but it is extremely well done. It's a first-time filmmaker, I guess. I thought before watching it that it was directed by the star of the movie, who I don't know if we've ever talked about before.
Jim Cummings?
Jim Cummings.
We have talked about him.
Have we? I guess I'm a fan of Jim Cummings.
Yeah.
He is. I thought this was one of his movies, but he just acts in it. But the stuff that he's written and directed himself, Wolf of Snow Hollow, he did a movie called The Beta Test. There's something about him that just like is so like effortlessly funny to me. Mm-hmm. He always plays these really like high-strung characters, and he has these freakouts in both those movies.
He's friends with Danny McBride. He was in the Halloween movie.
He had a small part in the flashback in Halloween Kills.
Yeah, he's a good filmmaker.
Those movies, yeah. You seen Wolf of Snow Hollow?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something, he has like these kind of like generic leading man handsome looks, but he's
But a weird intensity.
But he's so like intense, and he has these freakouts, and he's hilarious.
Okay, so this is great. So this is a failure, okay? So I can't use the language that I'd like to use to you right now because of the new direction that the agency and the country is going, so I won't. And I'll just say that this isn't working, okay? All this isn't, you aren't working for me.
And he doesn't really have that in this. He's kind of a more straight-laced character. But he's good. The supporting cast, Barbara Crampton shows up as the operator at the local police station, like a great cast.
But too dark. Too brutal.
I'm going to say too dark in terms of like where the story winds up. Where I'm like, I could have used something else beyond just wallowing in miserable, nihilistic characters. But it's so, up until that, like until you get towards kind of the third act, it's really well executed. Like there's really tense scenes, this building tension. It does a really great job of that. Okay. So very good movie. Just from my personal perspective, I would have liked it to kind of go in a different direction in the third act. But there's a great moment in that movie where a character is about to say the titular line, starts to say it, and then mid-sentence they just cut to another scene. It's very funny.
And I'll slip right into my review of a movie called Time Addicts.
Okay.
Buckets of bowl then. Well, you smoked it all.
It's a British movie about scummy young British people that go to a laundromat to get drugs from a weird-looking scummy guy.
Okay.
And they have this drug, and when they snort the drug, they disappear, and they end up in a different time. Future 80s, blah, 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 90s, whatever. And but they're like not smart lead characters. They're just like crackheads. and then the whole thing is like comes around, and it almost becomes like a causality loop. And they keep seeing versions of themselves from different time frames appearing, and it's like trippy and strange and funny, gross. I don't want to spoil too much, but
Well, that's a great title now that I know the premise of it.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
they're just doing drugs, popping in and out of time.
Denise, I'm thinking you might have a drug problem.
Well, speaking of renting, I watched a movie about a video store, a documentary called Kim's Video. Have you ever heard of Kim's Video? It was a video store, relatively famous video store in New York City in the 90s. I think it had a few video stores in a few like locations, but the main one was in like the Village, I think. So I saw there was a documentary about it. I was like, oh, a documentary about a video store. Because there's been like, in the last decade, multiple documentaries about like the VHS era, and they're always so fucking boring. They're just like talking heads, waxing nostalgia. I remember going to the video store and they had late fees. You remember late fees? And I remember you'd walk down the aisle and I remember the smell of the VHS, and they're just like completely like vapid and pointless. So I kind of was like, oh, is this just one of those type of movies? But it's not.
앞으로의 그 미디어의 그 포맷의 형태는 그 한 포맷에 치우치지를 않고 컴퓨터 산업과
It's a very engaging story and a very weird story about when Kim's Video closed down in the early 2000s, as all video stores did. The owner, Mr. Kim, he's like a businessman that just really liked movies, so he opened video stores. And the collection at Kim's Video, it was like 55,000 movies. He had tons of like, some of it was like bootlegs and like really like hard to find like little like tiny art movies and foreign films. It was in New York. And so he put out an ad or something of like, he was taking pitches on like who should get the collection that the video store was closing. So it's like there were like schools, like colleges saying like donate it to us or whatever. And he finally decided to go with a bid from a very tiny town in Italy, a little town in Italy called Salemi, that in the 60s, they had like a giant earthquake that like ravaged the city. They've been slowly trying to build it back up since then. And they wanted something that would work as kind of a touristy, like, come to Salemi, we have the Kim's Video Library. As like a thing to kind of promote like art and culture in their town.
Is that your Italian accent?
I don't know. That's just my generic.
Now wait, what year did this happen?
This was in the last few years. Well, when the video store closed down is when he gave the collection over to Salemi, but the documentary is about recent events.
Okay, well, when did the video store close down?
Early 2000s.
Okay.
So yeah, Mr. Kim decided to go with this town in Italy, donated the entire collection. They're like, we're gonna put it all on display. We're gonna, people that used to have Kim's Video membership cards, if they come to Salemi, we'll let them see the collection for free. So it's meant to be this sort of like tourist destination while trying to also prop up other like art culture stuff in their town.
Did you realize they couldn't play any NTSC VHS tapes? Or?
Well, what happened was nothing. It just, they got the collection, they shipped it all over there, and then they never like promoted it. The video store never opened. They never did anything with it. So the documentary is about this guy trying to find out what happened to the Kim's Video collection.
Okay.
So he goes to Salemi, he finds the building it's in, and it's just unlocked. There's like no one, it's just like this abandoned building. And the collection, there's just like tapes stacked up on the ground. There's water damage because the ceiling was leaking. And so he's trying to figure out why they never did anything with the collection. and what to do about the collection now and how to like rescue it. And the Italian mafia is involved. It goes in crazy directions. I don't want to give too much away, but it's about him trying to like, it's almost like it turns into like a heist movie where he's like, how can we rescue the collection and get it into the hands of someone who's going to take care of it?
Well, hot dog.
It's very fascinating. I was not expecting any involvement of the mafia. So it's very good. And it's very well done too. There's lots of like the narrator of it, who's the filmmaker, is like he keeps bringing up other movies. Like this event reminds me of, something that happened in whatever movie, and they show some clips. So it's
to show his love of cinema.
Yeah, it's a movie about the love of cinema and about archiving and.
All right,
that's
you've
Kim's
sold
video.
me on this.
La mafia a Salemi non esiste.
And our last movie of the show is Abigail. You told me to watch Abigail, and then you said don't watch the trailer, which I didn't.
Yeah, you still got it spoiled for you, right?
Yeah.
It's a victim of its own premise, where the only way to sell it is to give away what happens in it.
Yes, it's a catch-22 basically, because if you didn't know, when you the poster doesn't give anything away. It's the little girl in a ballerina outfit, like a high position shot, and she's like. But when I clicked on to rent it, the wallpaper of it was her with her vampire teeth. So it's like, okay, the little girl's a vampire.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's the big twist halfway through.
Yeah, they would have been so much more exciting to not know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But as I said, like if you don't promote that, then what are you trying to sell the movie on? Like characters kidnap a girl.
Well, there's more beyond the vampire girl is a vampire twist.
The movie worked for me even knowing the twist. I still thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's it gets the horror and gore right for a horror movie.
It's very Sam Raimi in terms of tone.
Yes.
It's very unapologetically silly.
So a crack team of characters kidnap a little girl. They know she's the daughter of someone wealthy. They're going to get ransom money, but they don't know who the father is. Kidnap the girl and put her in this weird, very suspicious, vampiric mansion.
And the group of thugs are all really well defined. They're all very distinct characters.
That's the strength of the movie that you take time to like learn about all the characters. Dan Stevens is in it.
I mentioned Devon Sawa earlier. That's why I wanted to bring him up again, because Dan Stevens in this movie looks just like modern day Devon Sawa, and it was really distracting to me.
Dan Stevens is, of course, from The Guest.
A little nod to The Guest in this, when you find out his character's real name is Adam Barrett.
Adam Barrett, a combination of Adam Weingart and Simon Barrett. So secrets will be revealed.
In the trailer.
Yeah. So they have to use code names, but they're all there for a secret purpose, which is revealed. Angus Cloud is in it in his last performance.
See, I started watching the movie. I haven't watched Euphoria. That was kind of what he got known for, right? I was completely unfamiliar with him, but he was the one that stood out to me the most while watching the movie. I was like, this guy's great. He's very clearly authentic. Like, there's something about him. And then it got to the end credits, and it's like in memory of him. I was like, oh. So then I looked him up, and I realized who he was. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That was kind of sad to learn about.
R.I.P. Angus Cloud.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good in it. Everyone's good in it. It's a little, except for Dan Stevens' accent.
Don't ever fuck with me. I will know.
The whole time I was distracted because I kept thinking of the scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off when Cameron Fry pranks the principal.
A family member dies, and you insult me. What the hell is the matter with you anyway?
Morty!
And it sounded just like that. And I'm like, this is silly.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but you don't sound very calm right now, Little Miss Paranoid, so forgive the precaution.
Asshole! asshole.
If the movie was some sort of serious drama, that would be more of an issue. But
Yeah, but like script-wise, it's a solid script. It makes the most use of a single location movie, and upping the stakes every time. No pun intended. They have the little girl. They discover that she's a vampire.
that girl, by the way, was very good.
She was very
Kid
good.
actors can be very hit and miss, but I thought she did a great job.
She was good. But like you said, you referenced what, Dusk Till Dawn, like a silly vampire.
Yeah,
over
where it's
the
like
top.
halfway, it's a crime movie, and then halfway through it becomes a vampire movie.
Yeah.
Not knowing the twist in this would have elevated it.
It
a
would
lot.
elevated it, yeah.
But it's lacking that element of surprise because you know it going in.
Right.
What's happening?
The one girl, the actress is named Catherine Newton, the blonde girl, the younger one.
Blonde girl,
The
yeah.
kind of ditzy one.
Yeah.
She was in she was the daughter in, I guess, that Ant-Man Quantumania movie. She's been in a few things. She was in Freaky.
Freaky, right.
And I was watching her in this, there's something about it where she always seems like she's on the verge of laughing. Not like in a way that is a character thing, but just where it's like her as an actress is a little distracting. She's the only one that stood out to me, where it's like, she looks like like a non-actor in an SNL skit, where they can never keep a straight face. She had a little bit of that going on.
That performance kind of reminded me of Kat Dennings, when you see Kat Dennings and stuff, where she kind of just...
You don't buy her as a character, it just feels like her sarcastically acting.
Yeah. And for this, it worked. Every character had their own little thing, and then it turns out they all... It's like, I don't know, Reservoir Dogs, right? They get secret names, and then they all have the secret things going on. And so at the 40, 50 minute mark, when they reveal that the girl is a vampire, and I was like, okay. And then she runs around, and I'm like, okay, the rest of the movie is going to be the vampire girl hiding in the house and then walking around and then killing. No. They do many things to up the stakes, there's bargaining, there's negotiating, there's backstabbing, there's some people getting turned into vampires, there's so many plot twists. That was a very long and embarrassing way of saying the movie has many, many plot twists, great gore, great explosions, a pool filled with bloated corpses, lots of, they just went full Sam Raimi on the gross.
Yeah.
The only thing
in a way that's not off-putting.
In the way that's not off-putting.
It's fun. When people explode, you laugh. You're not like grossed out.
It wasn't meant to shock you or to nauseate you or to it was meant for kind of for fun.
My only real complaint is towards the end, once you get past all the kind of twists and revelations are done, the final, I guess you'd say the final act, is not terribly engaging, and everybody starts saying fuck 5 times in every sentence, and it was incredibly annoying.
There are way too many F words.
And you can have anything you want.
I'm gonna make you my fucking puppet.
And we'll take over the whole thing.
I feel fucking great. I fucking hate ballet. You better fucking run, you fucking junkie.
I'm gonna kill you, Frank.
It loses all impact when you do it that often. It was kind of, I don't know why they did it either. The rest of the movie wasn't like that.
Dan Stevens yelling fuck every other word.
Yeah.
It started to take on that kind of like, hey, look at us, we're cool kind of vibe. And then there was like a couple of throwaway like one-liners, like when you stab the bad guy and then you say like some cool, and it, it was like, I always hated ballet.
Yeah.
It's just like eye roll kind of thing. And I don't know if that was self-aware, like they're doing it ironically to like comment on stupid lines in movies, or they were just reveling in their own filth. But yeah, that started to get a little grating and annoying, the overuse of the F word. And I can take swears, trust me, but
it's more when it feels like it's in there as
it's important.
Yeah.
As a like
crutch.
An emphasis.
Yeah. No, in this movie it felt like a crutch. Like, these are cool, badass characters. Like, I say, fuck.
You're trying too hard. You don't need to try hard. You have a great set, you have a great cast, you have great effects.
What the fuck?
It's fun. I think that's it's nice to see a movie like that that's just kind of fun.
It's fun. If you're in the mood for like a gross horror movie,
it's the opposite of like a Night Swim where nothing happens.
Yes. It's the anti-Blumhouse. Yeah, I wanted to watch what female wrestlers.
Oh, Love Lies Bleeding.
Love Lies Bleeding.
I forgot to put that on
I'm
my
sorry,
list. I got to talk about Love Lies Bleeding, but Ed Harris looks like the Crypt Keeper in that.
Yes, I seen the trailer for that. I was thinking of watching that one too.
Okay.
So where did you appear from? Oklahoma. I've never been anywhere but here.
Directed by Rose Glass, who did Saint Maud.
Yeah, so Saint Maud was great.
I believe that was their first movie. This is their second movie. And again, kind of like the going from Dinner in America to Snack Shack. Those movies are a little more similar, but it's always good when you follow up such a a movie with such a distinct voice with something that's drastically different. And Love Lies Bleeding is totally different than Saint Maud, which was such a like small little like character study. But yeah, it's Kristen Stewart and I can't remember the actress's name, but the bodybuilder lady.
Yeah, I recognize the name. I've seen her.
She's been in some stuff, always like supporting roles, obviously, because she's a bodybuilder. She's got these big buff muscles. Very unusual type of lead character for a movie, which is nice. It's nice to see a movie where it's not the typical generic leading characters. It's a dark crime, lesbian, romance, drama, road trip, body horror, drug addict.
Ed Harris as the Crypt Keeper.
Ed Harris as the Crypt Keeper. He eats a bug.
All the things you want in a feature film.
All the things you want in a feature film. And yeah, like Saint Maud, just really like has such a like distinct like style and voice behind it.
Is this a new era for the world, Jay? Because we talk. I always like. I romanticize that filthy period of the '80s when like the disgusting director would make disgusting movies and do anything.
Yeah.
And then now we have like the surface level is like these like sanitized Hollywood movies, and Disney and even Blumhouse, which is now a big corporation making like the teddy bear movie that's G-rated, disguised as a horror picture, and movies like that. But then
the smaller movies are going harder,
lurking below the surface. Your neons and
oh yeah, but they're doing it in a way like this movie I would describe as like artful trash, where it's like it's very like pulpy and violent, and there's weird like bursts of kind of surreal imagery, but it's done so like thoughtfully.
Yeah.
And it's so like artistic while it's portraying these disgusting, vulgar, filthy things.
It's a good balance because we don't necessarily want or need like, okay, honey, take your top off in the hot tub and the man's gonna stab you in the boobs.
Right.
We don't want stuff like that, but we want.
You want some grit.
We want grit. We want good characters. We want a good story. We want things we haven't seen before, whether it's in comedy. Like something like Lousy Carter, where it's like just this fucking flat, weird dialogue that's so like inhuman almost, to where it's like pushing dry sarcasm, sardonic humor to like the edge, and while being self-aware about it, or like this Love Lies Bleeding movie or whatever, like. And then they just kind of fester beneath Dinner in America, where they fester beneath the surface, and they
slowly over time, word of mouth catches on, and they grow.
They're not just propped right into the multiplexes like this was, the '90s or early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, even something like those Terrifier movies, which I'm not personally a fan of, but those are so excessively violent, and they've done really well. So yeah, I think people are clamoring for just anything that has a little bit of like, I don't know, a little meat to it. It isn't generic haunted teddy bear Blumhouse movie.
Yeah, the masses still exist, but I think they're thinning out. They're going to other mediums.
Yeah, everyone's just watching stuff at home.
Watching stuff at home, watching shows, watching TikToks, whatever.
And while nobody's looking, all these little perverts are making their weird indie movies.
Yes.
It's close to like kind of what it was in the 70s, where those were studios making basically indie movies where they let the filmmaker do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola's coming back with his big, weird epic, whatever that thing is.
All I saw was Adam Driver standing on a building.
Yeah, Megalopolis. So it's a good time for smaller movies because they don't have to play.
Yeah.
They don't, all these like, Blumhouse, like I said, they keep their budgets low because they know they can make their money back. But you have something like The Fall Guy that's $200 million and nobody cares anymore. So you make your smaller movies, put in all sorts of weird shit. Doesn't even have to be weird. Just be distinct. Have a voice to it.
That appeals to us.
Yeah.
Because we have a wide appetite, palette, whatever you want to say, for such array of different kinds of movies. And I think that's why when you look at our lists here, with the exception of a couple of embarrassing Blumhouse movies I got tricked into watching, just oddball stuff.
Yeah.
That just like, whoa, that's different. I'm going to watch that. As opposed to us doing a whole episode about Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
Like, okay,
there's only so many ways you can say it was fine.
it was good. They fought each other. The CGI was fun. There's some buildings that got knocked down. It's just like I don't know. I'm just phased out of that in life. Occasionally we'll do a big superhero movie just for fun or whatever, like Ghostbusters, or it's something that's.
There's still some, like I'm excited about the Furiosa movie, but that again feels like that's a George Miller movie.
Yeah,
that's his movie.
Yes. It's a tour filmmaker,
Yeah.
singular vision, or something that's like. I'm looking forward to the Wolverine Deadpool movie. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
In terms of superhero stuff, not much else, but for the most part, weird movies.
Yeah.
And quick shout out.
Oh my God.
Now, stand by. I was on Voodoo this morning, and
You're a voodoo addict.
I wanna highlight a movie.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Alien Hunt.
This is Rich Evans' nightmare. We're gonna highlight a film called Alien Hunt.
Oh, is this People in the Woods?
Okay, I'm gonna show you.
They still make those movies?
I'm gonna show you the trailer.
Oh
Joe.
my God. Okay.
This is an opportunity.
Where are all the deer?
Ain't no birds. What walks on two legs and bites like a gator? Maybe that's what's killing all the wildlife.
Oh, we don't have signal. Is it a bug? The hell else could it be?
But watch. It's like the Neo Don Doler.
It looks like a it's just a xenomorph.
I know.
You can't do that.
All right.
You don't cock a shotgun unless you're ejecting the shell.
Yeah. That's a movie staple.
It's called Alien Hunt.
Alien Hunt.
Now, okay, wait. So I talked about Alien Hunt. Now the director, I said from acclaimed director Aaron Mertes, who's done some films like Curse of the Nun.
Oh, he did some Tubi stuff. Ouija Craft.
Yeah, Ouija Craft. All pretty good posters, but this is still happening.
Okay.
And I pointed this out because this is not what we're talking about. When we talk about weird indie films.
Sure.
They still make Tubi trash.
Yeah.
Running around the woods with an alien that is just a Geiger alien.
Yeah.
In
3 actors in the woods and a guy in a rubber suit.
And some CGI effects of it jumping, but that's not what we're talking about.
No.
But go ahead and rent Alien Hunt.
Let us know how it is. Leave a comment below.
I implore every viewer out here to rent Alien Hunt.
Okay.
Just I don't know this guy. We don't know any of the people in the movie.
We're never going to watch the movie.
We're never going to watch it, but I want everyone out there.
Everyone but us to watch it.
Everyone out there, watch Alien Hunt and post a comment on this video letting us know what you thought of Alien Hunt.
And prove that you watched it.
Prove that you watched it. And we want to see Alien Hunt shoot to the top of the fucking charts. Okay.
I want to see it trending on Twitter.
It's going to trend on it's going to be on the New York Times bestseller list.
It's not even a book, and it's going to be
on
on
there.
there.
Book. It's going to be the first movie on the New York Times bestseller list. Alien Hunt, everybody. Check it out. Alien Hunt.
All right.
Alien Hunt. Check it out. We are not promoting this movie at all. We are not being paid to promote it. We don't know the filmmaker or anyone involved in the production, but check out Alien Hunt, everybody. Don't forget to check out Alien Hunt. It's available on most streaming services. Check it out.
Rent it at your local Family Video.
And be sure to tell Rich Evans to watch it. Tell him there's no scenes in the woods. Because that is his kryptonite.
Yeah, yeah.
It's oh God, they're in the woods.
The minute he sees a tree in a movie, he's checked out.
He's checked out, yeah.